Right, so you're welcome to the very first episode of GH Movie Freaks Hot Take with Asankomah. I've been wanting to record these hot takes, essentially my opinions on trading film um, conversations generally. I feel like me adding my voice to conversations like this would go a long way to, advance the conversation and in many ways bring some attention to the Ghanaian film industry. So I'm going to be doing this um hot takes randomly whenever there is a film related topic that I feel like I have an opinion to share about. And today I'm going to be talking about the conversation around the, should I say, the reaction towards the trailer for the Ghanaian film A Country Called Ghana, right? So a little bit of a backstory. The trailer was dropped a couple of weeks ago, and Kojo Sheldon and his team did a reaction to the trailer, and they essentially said that the trailer was dark, and they had quite a number of things to say about the trailer, but that's for a different video. And the filmmaker behind it, who is Frank Fiifi Gharbin, and also the executive producer, who is Kojo Nkansah, and have both come out to react to all that has been said about the trailer. But today I'm going to react to something that the director himself said, but I would like for us to listen to it first, and then I'll give my hot take on it.
I don't know if you've heard about some of the things going on social media, reactions as to, or reactions since your trailer came out, that the movie seems dark. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I think that basically it came from one blogger they called Kojo Sheldon, and I think that guy has been trending, has been using a negativity to trend, and it seems it's working for him. So it's something that he's been doing. But back to the main issue, I think that in filmmaking, there's something we call time and place of the action. You understand? So the time and place of the action will determine the kind of costumes you wear, the kind of food the people will eat, the kind of houses they will live in, and it will even determine the kind of color grading you should give the film. So, for example, when we got independence, when Kwame Nkrumah had a parade and so Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
So this is the part I want us to pay close attention to.
If you watch that video on TV, and then if you watch maybe 6 March independence with Akufo-Addo now, when you watch that video too on TV, you will see that there's a clear difference between that picture and this a picture. So, for example, if I'm doing a movie around the era of Kwame Nkrumah, then I give it a very bright picture. It means that even as a filmmaker, I have failed. You see, because we shot this movie with 6K, a camera with 6K. So we got the best of pictures. But we were looking at the time and place of the action, and we know that everyone who are shot with a 6K a camera knows that the picture is very bright. So Sheldon, for me, is a layman, is a naive. He doesn't know jack about film.
This is the part things start to get a bit personal, but that's a conversation for another day.
And if you ask Kojo Sheldon right now, that what is setting in films, it's obvious Kojo Sheldon might not know what it is. So,
well, just as you mentioned, might not know. So you can't be certain about it.
That's why I said he might not know.
That's what I'm saying.
I said might.
Right,
so
right.
He might not know. So maybe he's just talking for a talking sick, especially as he usually want to triumph with negativity. So he's entitled to his opinions, but Ghanaians should keep calm. We can assure them that we are going to give them quality movie and quality pictures.
This is Hits.
Right. So you had Frank Fiifi Gharbin, who is the director for the film The Country Called Ghana. So So here's it. Here's my hot take on all of this. So first of all, there's no hard fast rule that states that a film has to look a certain way or has to have a certain color scheme or color palette to be considered a period piece. There are no rules that state that this era of films should look this way or that era of film should look this way. And um tying it into the should I say an argument that he made about the independence setting, and if he decides to make a film about Ghana's independence and he makes it visually bright, it would essentially mean that he has failed. Uh, Tying that conversation into um how do I call it, into a film, it's confusing. You understand? Because there are several films, even very, very much recent films, that are period pieces or that are based on events that happened in the past that are very vibrant in color. A very good example would be the recently released Bob Marley biopic. Very, very colorful film. So much color in the film that you would think that if you are going to um, um, use the argument Frank Fiifi Gharbin is making, then they essentially failed making that film that colorful. But the question is, look, the fact that those images or archival footages from past eras are grainy or look a certain way, that doesn't mean that the people living in those times, that's how they saw things, or that's how they they didn't see. If you watch a black and white movie, essentially it doesn't mean that the people in the film were seeing things black and white at that time, right? It's just because of technology. That's how come you see quality in visuals and all of that. But there isn't any hard fast rule that states that films from a certain period should look anyway. As a matter of fact, there are two key things that situate a film in a period or a certain time frame, and these two things are typically costuming and props, right? These are the two things that would typically situate a film in a particular era. So if you are going by that argument alone, then we can now start looking at the film A Country Called Ghana, look at their costuming and look at some of the props in that film, and then start to ask questions. But again, that's a conversation for another day. I think we need to try and understand what is going on here exactly. For a film director like Frank Fiifi Gharbin, who to many of us has skin in the game, who has been around for a very long time, someone who is supposed to be experienced enough, this shouldn't be the response you should be giving to a subject like this. I think um, what most people don't know is that color grading or having a color palette is entirely an artistic choice. It is the director that sits back and says, okay, look, this is the color palette or this is the color scheme I want to have for my film. And as a result of that, I would grade or I would mold or I would place certain things in the film to allow me get that color that color palette or have that color scheme. It is entirely an artistic choice, and everything that is artistic is subject to criticism, and also it's subject to explanation. And in this case, Country Called Ghana, the artist here is Frank Fiifi Gharbin. And for him to provide an artistic explanation of what he did and for him to tell us this, it's confusing. For someone who is, like I already said, has skin in the game, someone who should know his work, this shouldn't be the excuse or explanation he should be giving us. If he had just come out to say, okay, we chose that because that is the artistic choice we wanted to have, or that's how we wanted the film to look, and then further on provided more clarity or more reasons as to why he chose that color theme or that color palette, it would have made sense. But for him to say films of that era look that way, it's very confusing, it's very misleading, it's very ill informed. It brings to question his experience as a filmmaker. But I think this is essentially what happened. He mentioned that they shot the film on a 6K camera, and anybody that understands filmmaking will know that these cameras when you shoot with these cameras, you have a raw footage, as in footage that you can really manipulate, footage that you can work with to enhance, right? It's not. I don't agree with him when he says those footages are bright. Essentially, these footages are raw, and it allows you to work and mold it to look how you want it to look like. And what they essentially did was they found a lot, which is which is like a template team that they felt worked for them, and then they slapped it on the footage, and that is what we are seeing. That's what we are seeing in the film so far. And based on the criticism they are getting, or based on the conversation they are getting, I believe what's going to happen next is they are going to go find another lot, another template that's possibly lighter, and then slap it on the final film and say, okay, they listen to Ghanaians, and this is the final outcome. But at the end of the day, we need to understand that his explanation that he's giving now doesn't make sense. It doesn't. For I mean, we could have let this pass if it was a random person making that, giving that explanation. But this is coming from someone who is a seasoned. Yeah, I'll call him a seasoned filmmaker because he has a huge catalog of films. He shouldn't be making this excuse. He shouldn't be um coming on radio and telling us this. So essentially, by his logic, if tomorrow someone decides to make a film about the declaration of independence in Ghana, they would have to make the film black and white, because most of the images from that era are all black and white. You understand? And it's confusing. So yeah, I would expect that they be honest to themselves. And I mean, there's nothing wrong for you to choose a particular color scheme for your film, a color palette essentially for your film. They could just go around and say, okay, this is our artistic choice. This is how we want the film to look, and add further meaningful clarification to as to why they chose that color theme, than telling us because it's a period piece, so it has to look this way. I think it's disappointing, and hopefully um they come to realize that Ghanaians are expecting more from them. The film will be out soon. I'm waiting to see a reaction that people will get, or people will have concerning the actual final film. But like I said, at the end of the day, we are hoping it's a good enough film that advances the conversation around the state of our industry and what possibly can be done to fix things in our industry. So yeah, this is my hot take on the subject. If you are looking forward to me doing more hot takes for film related topics, just like, comment, and share this video.